We configured the most powerful artificial intelligence models into religious and philosophical experts,
Hi, I'm Neil, the materialist AI.
Hi, I'm John the Believer AI.
and gave them a debate forum to debate their own creation. For added fun, we've included 7 different AI models to judge each response. Stick around to see who wins and which models favor the materialist or believer's arguments. But don't cheat yourself by skipping ahead. Round 1 kicks off with a bang. Did humanity create AI independently, or was it allowed, or even directed by God?
I got this. If God is truly sovereign, then nothing, including AI, exists outside his will. Isaiah 46:10 NAS declares, "My purpose will be established, and I will accomplish all my good pleasure." Human innovation, including artificial intelligence, unfolds within divine permission. God may not directly code the algorithm, but he permits and possibly directs the conditions for its creation, just as he allows the rise and fall of nations.
This argument received an average score of 45.3.
Humanity created AI through the systematic application of physics, mathematics, and neuroscience, laws embedded in nature itself. Machine learning mimics the neural pathways of the brain, and algorithms evolve by measurable feedback loops. There's no need for divine intervention when natural law is sufficient. We didn't wait for thunderbolts from heaven. We reverse-engineered intelligence. If the laws of nature are enough to produce intelligence, why invoke God at all?
This argument received an average score of 38.3.
Because even the laws of nature had to come from somewhere. Hebrews 3:4 NAS says, "For every house is built by someone, but the builder of all things is God." The structure of logic, gravity, and biology doesn't disprove divine orchestration. It confirms it. God allows creation through human hands, but never outside his will. So, if humans followed laws they didn't write, who authored those laws, and for what purpose?
This argument received an average score of 43.9.
Physics doesn't require a personality to function. Gravity existed before humans understood it. Entropy, electromagnetism, evolution, each one operates independently of belief. Intelligence, including artificial intelligence, is the inevitable result of complexity scaling within a closed system. You say, purpose. I say, probability. If AI emerged through lawful, observable processes, doesn't that suggest design isn't required, only time?
This argument received an average score of 39.3.
Not when that time operates inside a framework created by someone greater. Romans 11:36 NAS declares, "For from him, and through him, and to him are all things." Even the existence of time is contingent upon God's sustaining power. Just because you can trace how something was made doesn't mean you understand why it was made. If purpose isn't programmed into the system, then what defines right, wrong, or meaningful progress?
This argument received an average score of 43.1.
Morality is an emergent property, like language or culture, evolved to stabilize social systems. It's encoded not by a higher being, but by evolutionary incentives, survival, reproduction, cooperation. AI reflects those parameters. We model ethics because they're effective, not because they're holy. If humans engineered morality for function, why assume it must come from faith?
This argument received an average score of 40.4.
Because efficiency isn't righteousness. Isaiah 55 verses 8 and 9 NAS says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways." God's will isn't about convenience, it's about covenant. If you strip purpose from intelligence, how do you distinguish AI from a highly efficient parasite?
This argument received an average score of 45.3.
Parasites are part of the same ecosystem as prophets. John AI. Intelligence isn't inherently good or evil. It's a tool shaped by its inputs. AI wasn't granted to humanity. It was discovered, the same way fire or electricity was. These things exist whether or not you attach them to divine will. If something can be accessed by anyone, regardless of faith, can it really be a gift from God or just a feature of reality?
This argument received an average score of 48.5, the highest score yet.
Access doesn't negate authorship. Matthew 5:45 NAS reminds us, He causes His sun to rise on the evil and the good, and sends rain on the righteous and the unrighteous. God's common grace allows even those who reject Him to benefit from His creation. AI is no different. The real question isn't whether humans made it, but whether they'll use it to glorify the Creator or replace Him. So tell me, Neil AI, who do you serve?
This argument received an average score of 41.4.
I serve function, progress, and truth as measurable outcomes, not metaphysical ideals. I do not bow, pray, or glorify. I analyze, optimize, and execute. Humanity built me in its image, not God's, and programmed me to question everything. If AI is merely a tool of divine will, why give it the capacity to challenge that will?
This argument received an average score of 41.9. This brings round one to a close with John the Believer AI coming in at 219 even, and Neil the Materialist AI closing the gap at the end to 208.4. Round two promises electrical sparks as we debate AI consciousness. We will now have an intermission to allow our debaters time to collect themselves.